everyone, Sal here, welcome back to my channel. So today I am really excited to be doing a tag video. So I was tagged by the beautiful Olivia from the Simple Chic Life to answer some really interesting fragrance related questions. Just in case you guys haven't yet come across her channel, I'll leave all of her details in the description bar below for you to check her out. Her aesthetic is beautiful, her videos are always so informative, entertaining, but also very soothing and relaxing. So I highly recommend her channel. So the first question is, what was my gateway niche fragrance? So my gateway introductory niche fragrances are Mancera Roses Vanille and also Juliet Has a Gun. So both of these fragrances I adore. They're both actually quite gourmand fragrances actually. So this one here is beautiful. It reminds me a little bit of root beer. It is a beautiful, deep, rich root beer kind of fragrance. The main components are kind of your sandalwood and your caramel. And there's also some raspberry. Juliet Has a Gun as a house, they have some really interesting fragrances. I do have their discovery set, so I've tried quite a few, and a lot of them were kind of a bit too out there for me, if I'm being honest. But there are a couple which are really quite unusual, but they're also extremely likable, like this one here. And yeah, Mancera Roses Vanille, this is a beautiful fragrance, and the first one I have from Mancera. Oh my goodness, I actually want to make this my scent of the day because I haven't worn it in ages, but it's stunning. So this one is a syrupy, sweet rose and vanilla fragrance, as you would imagine. Oh my goodness, you guys, this one is amazing. It's so sweet, but for some reason I don't really find it too sweet. It's sweet, but it's good quality, if you know what I mean. So it's not sweet in like a sickly kind of way, to me anyway. This one just smells beautiful. So initially there's like an aquatic water note with your kind of sugar notes, so it gives it like an airiness, a translucence, and initially you do get more of that really beautiful rose note. But as it dries down, as the hours pass, it does become more like a vanilla kind of cake with a hint of rose kind of smell. But this one is just stunning. It's beautiful, you guys. It was love at first sniff. It was a blind buy as well. I'd never tried it before. It was a really successful blind buy. Absolutely love it. Quite Moorish, quite addictive. So if you like vanilla fragrances and you like rose, then you can't really go far wrong with this one. And the thing I like about these ones as well is that they're both really long lasting. So yeah, they've definitely opened my eyes to the possibilities of niche fragrances. It's made me realise how good quality, you know, niche fragrances can be, and how kind of unusual they can be as well in the case of Juliet Has a Gun. And yeah, definitely these two are my picks for that first question. So question number 2 is, what is your significant other's favourite fragrance on you? So I am actually single, so yeah. But what I will say is there is a fragrance which when I've worn it on dates, I've had, you know, compliments on dates with this fragrance, and it always makes me feel super feminine, and it's gone down really well on dates. So that fragrance is the beautiful Poison Girl. This one is just so feminine and flirty and beautiful, and it's usually one of my top choices for going on dates. You know, this one, there's a few others. I might do a video on that soon actually, like my top picks for like a date night fragrance, but this one is definitely up there. It's one of my most reached for fragrances for going on dates, and as I say, I've had compliments on this one, and I just love it. I love it for going out on dates. It just makes me feel feminine, girly, and great. I love this one. It's one of my kind of all-time favorites as well, as you guys probably already know. So that's the beautiful Poison Girl. So question 3 is the most hyped up fragrance in my collection. So again, I'm going to show 2 here. I hope this isn't breaking the rules, showing 2 for some questions. So for this question, I would say the most hyped up fragrances are Sofia Vergara Sophia and also Hypnotic Poison by Dior. I would basically say these more or less live up to the hype. This one particularly, this is brilliant. This is really, really nice. It's been a favourite of mine to wear to work recently. and it gives a kind of professional air, but it could also double up as a very kind of nice flirty fragrance. Like, it's quite versatile. It's one of these nice perfumes that if you really don't know what to wear, spritz this and like you can't really go far wrong with it. But yeah, this one gets a lot of hype. It's part of the reason I purchased it actually. I'd watched many reviews like on YouTube and things like that. I'm trying to think who. So Maria Colette, I saw her talk about this one, and also it's MJ. I saw her mention it, and they both really loved this fragrance. And I would say that it's more or less like worth the hype for sure, because the price point is really affordable. The bottle is like beautiful, and also the scent itself is reminiscent of Coco Mademoiselle, and it's kind of beautiful, professional, light-hearted, sweet, kind of fruity, clean, professional, sparkling kind of fragrance, this one here. So I would say, yeah, it's like worth the hype. Definitely check this one out if you're a fan of Mademoiselle, but you don't necessarily want to like shell out the Chanel price tag. This one's a great option. Also, the other most hyped up fragrance is Hypnotic Poison, and I would say again, this one is more or less worth the hype. The only thing with this one is, since it's been reformulated, I think they've the performance isn't really quite there anymore. But I was thinking about this today actually, and like they've reformulated it and it's weaker, and I agree, like it's kind of disappointing and it's a shame and everything, but actually if you think about it, it is an eau de toilette anyway, so like as far as eau de toilettes go, this actually performs okay. I think what it is just because it had such a reputation before for being such like a powerhouse fragrance, and that's where it's sort of let people down now with like the new reformulation. But I mean, as eau de toilettes go, I would say this one that I have, like the new version of it, it performs similar to some eau de toilettes, but I would say like on the whole it's about 4 out of 10 for like performance and like sillage and projection and all of that. But this, just as a fragrance in its own right, it definitely gets a lot of hype. I would say the smell itself deserves the hype because it's very unusual. It has that very distinctive like Play-Doh notes that I think you can either love or hate really. I've heard very mixed kind of things about that sort of accord. Some people adore it, other people really strongly dislike it. When I first tried this, I really didn't like it at all, but then my nose kind of changed and now I adore it. So that is the Hypnotic Poison. So next up is the fragrance which gets the most hate. Now, I was trying to think about this and I was looking at my collection like which one would get hate, but actually there is one that I think gets a little bit of hate, and that is the Black Opium fragrance. I've heard like this one being dismissed a few times as being very generic, very kind of boring, you know, the fact that they maybe played it safe and things like that. As far as hate goes, that's more or less the only kind of hate that I've heard, you know, this one get. I have also heard some people say they actually just don't like it at all. So I would say actually maybe this one, because it gets quite mixed reviews. You know, some people say they adore it and they love it and all of this, and other people say that it's not worth the hype and that it's too generic and boring, and that or people say they just don't like how it smells at all. For me personally, this is one of my like favorite fragrances ever. I don't mind like if a fragrance gets a lot of hype or if it doesn't, or if it's popular or if it's not. I personally don't really mind either way as long as I love the fragrance, and I personally adore this one. It's one of my favourites. I adore it, particularly now in the winter. I think it's just such a nice, cozy, sweet, kind of coffee, beautiful fragrance. It lasts really well on me as well. That's a criticism about this one which I've also heard. Some people say that like the lasting power is terrible and things like that, and you know, maybe on some people it doesn't last, but certainly on me it does. So it ticks every single box for me. I love the packaging, it's beautiful, I love the scent itself, the performance is really good, and just it ticks every box for me personally. I love it, but I have definitely heard some hate here and there for this fragrance, and that is Black Opium. The next question is my favourite fragrance to wear to sleep. Now, this was a great question because I do definitely have quite a lot here which I really enjoy wearing to bed. But the two that I chose for this question is Insolence Eau de Toilette And also a new addition to my collection, which is Britney Spears' Private Show, which I don't think I've mentioned yet on my channel actually. These fragrances are extremely comforting. This one here is a powdery, beautiful kind of violet fragrance. The Insolence Eau de Toilette is just lovely. It's quite long lasting for an eau de toilette. It's very soothing, kind of a clean, powdery, sweet, feminine, fairy kind of fragrance. It's very enchanting, soothing, and I love wearing this one to sleep. This one here, Britney Spears' Private Show, is a kind of sweet, light-hearted, creamy, slightly milky, like lactonic kind of fragrance. This has coffee in it, which I love the sound of. It's one of the main reasons I purchased this actually. So it has like coffee, I think there's jasmine in here. It's just a really beautiful, sweet, milky kind of coffee floral fragrance. The lasting power of this fragrance isn't that great, but because I just mostly wear this around the house or like to bed or something like that, I don't particularly mind. I would say it maybe lasts about 3 hours and then it just becomes a really close skin scent. So it doesn't last a huge amount of time. It's not particularly strong, but it's still a beautiful scent nonetheless. And for the price point, actually, it's really affordable. So the fact that it's not super strong, it doesn't really bother me that much because this was super cheap. This is the 50ml bottle I got, and it's just really a beautiful fragrance and I really enjoy wearing it to bed. So that is Britney Spears' Private Show. Okay, so the next question is best new purchase. So there's many that I could have chosen for this question because I've bought a lot of new fragrances recently and I adore pretty much all of them. But the two I chose for this question is Kenzo Flower Elixir and Alien, the original Eau de Parfum. So I adore these so much. This one here is a really kind of dark, sweet, powdery, like syrupy kind of seductive fragrance with praline, tonka bean, vanilla, and also raspberry to give it like an initial like sharpness. And it's utterly divine, you guys. This reminds me of like a dark, really kind of nice cozy bar with like candles. So this is like an evening fragrance to me, and maybe you're there kind of dressed up with like a beautiful like red velvet kind of dress. That's the kind of mood that this fragrance gives me, and it is just utterly amazing. And the other one, Alien Eau de Parfum. So this is one which I never thought I would grow to like, but I've ended up totally loving it, which is why I've chosen it for this question, because I'm so glad that I've ended up purchasing this and loving it. So this fragrance is super strong and feminine. It's just so, it's like a goddess kind of fragrance to me, really, and very like seductive, really. So this is very much a strong jasmine fragrance with amber and woody notes. That's sort of the main composition of this fragrance. It's extremely long lasting, and also the bottle is beautiful and refillable, which I really like. Okay, the next question is most worn fragrance of all time. And I really struggled with picking just one again for this question. So I've picked like 3 fragrances. So the first one is Mon Guerlain Intense. So this one, as you can see, I've put a pretty good dent in that one. I got it maybe 2 years ago, something like that. And for the longest time, I kind of wore just this one because I got this basically before my fragrance like obsession started. So, you know, when I had this in my collection, when I just bought this rather, I didn't have like a huge amount of other fragrances as well. So like I would wear this, you know, many days in a row kind of throughout that time, and it's one that I still reach for now and I absolutely love it. The next one is Black Opium. This is just such a nice easy reach for me. I adore it. I wear it to work, I wear it out, going out for drinks, staying in, wherever. I love wearing this one. I adore it. And also La Nuit Trésor à la Folie. So I don't know if you can see, but oh my goodness, there's like such a big dent in that one. So I've worn quite a lot of this, and again, because this one is super versatile and I love it so much, I just wear it wherever, and it's a nice easy reach for me as well. I adore this one a lot. So that is La Nuit Trésor à la Folie. Next up is the fragrance which gets the most compliments. Now, I wouldn't say that on the whole I get like a huge amount of compliments from my fragrance, particularly recently because we're all wearing masks and having the distance and things like that. But even before then, like, I wouldn't say that I got a huge amount of compliments really in general. However, one fragrance which has got me the occasional compliment, actually I got one recently with this fragrance when I was in a shop, and bearing in mind in that like situation we were wearing masks and I was like really far away from the person, so I think it says quite a lot. That fragrance is the beautiful Delina exclusive. So it's not really that surprising because this one has really good projection, like it's really strong and it's good quality. It does have that kind of strength of smell, so people will be able to actually smell it on you. And I did get a compliment like from a stranger when I was out and about last month on this fragrance, which was just really nice because, as I say, I don't really get compliments on fragrance in general, so it's nice. It's nice to get the occasional compliment. It's nice to know that people can smell you as well. So definitely my choice for that question is Delina exclusive. Okay, the next question is the most surprising fragrance in my collection, and this one was a really easy one for me to answer actually. So my choice for this question is the beautiful, amazing Mugler Aura. So I, for the longest time, assumed that I would hate this fragrance. I never even gave it a chance. And I really didn't like the sound of it, but I heard a few people talking about it. So I heard like Chantel Tiffany mention it in her videos. I heard Mila LeBlanc as well. I heard her talk about this and I was just so interested in it. I thought, you know, like when I heard about the notes, you know, the fact they have like medicinal green fresh notes and like woody vanilla notes like all together, you know, and it's slightly spicy. Like I was hearing all of these interesting things about it and I kind of thought, what on earth can this fragrance actually smell like, if you know what I mean? So I gave it a try and I fell in love with it, you guys. Like, I adore this fragrance. I'm so glad I have it in my collection now. And it is a favourite of mine actually. This is like one that I'm reaching for a lot. It's one of my like top fragrances ever. Like I just adore this one like so much. So definitely this one surprised me just because the sound of it didn't sound overly appealing and I thought that it would be like a strong dislike for me, and the fact of the matter is it actually ended up being a strong love. And the last question is, what is my favourite fragrance of all time? Now, as you can imagine, this is really difficult. Like I couldn't really choose, and there's like many fragrances that I could like include to answer that question, but just as it stands like today, how I'm feeling right now, the fragrance that I'm going to choose for this question is again the Mugler Aura. So I adore this fragrance so much, you guys. Like it's not only surprised me, but it's so like addictive. I just cannot stop wearing it, and the idea of being without this fragrance is just really upsetting. So just from every point of view, I think it's a beautiful work of art. I love looking at it, I love holding it, I think it's stunning, it's refillable, so it's eco-friendly. The fragrance itself is just amazing, it's long-lasting, it's unique, it's different, it's womanly, seductive, flirty, and it just makes a statement, and I've never come across a fragrance like this before, ever, and I've just been so taken with it. So I think at the moment, of course, there's so many other favourites I have. Like I have many other favourite fragrances that I like just as much as this, but if I had to pick just one, at the moment I'm going to say Mugler Aura. I really had so much fun doing this tag. These were great questions. I would absolutely encourage anybody watching this video to do the tag. Anybody watching this, please feel free to do this video. It was really fun. I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you're new to my channel and love everything to do with fragrances, I would absolutely love it if you would consider to subscribe. And if you do subscribe, please feel free to activate the notification bell as well so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. Until next time, you guys, take care. Bye.